everybody. My name is Mitchell,
And I'm Bill.
and we're here for Magic City Pagans podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still talking about bringing it back in person and doing the podcast. We'll see how that progresses.
Yeah.
Just want to give you a little, we're at Books, Beans, and Candles. That's where Magic City Pagans is hosted.
Mm-hmm.
And upcoming events, we have Krampus. Krampus this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's only $15.
And what do we get for those $15?
You get a physical 4x6 copy and a digital copy emailed to you, so you can print the thing off as much as you like. Makes great Christmas gifts.
Oh,
cards,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Or in this case, Solstice cards, Krampus cards, however you want to do it.
Just frame it and put it up as decoration.
Yes, and send it to all your friends.
It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. Oh, let's see. We're already into December. That's
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Wow, yeah, we're a little late running this one. So tomorrow at 6:30 is Tea and Tarot. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's also here at Books, Beans, and Candles.
For those of y'all playing along at home, it's the first Friday of every month.
Right. And of course, we provide tea, and if you don't have a tarot deck, we'll let you borrow one, and it's free. So we've been about an hour and a half practicing reading tarot and showing different spreads and everything.
Yeah, and you get to learn, ask questions. And, even if you've never touched a deck before, it's a really good learning and fun environment to learn.
Yeah. One other thing we threw on the Krampus is going to be our big holiday sale. That's our 15% off everything in the store.
Nice.
So, yeah, so that rare book you won, 15% off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, throw that little teaser out there.
I'm glad you did.
It's like, what else do we got going on?
You got the raffle.
The raffle, yeah, December 21st. We actually have a raffle for a box that weighs about 20 pounds. It's got over 300 different items, 300 of those worth of items in it.
Yes.
So it's really nice, and the raffle is only $5 a ticket.
Yeah. And I do believe it is if you buy 2 tickets, you get a third one.
You get a third one free, yeah. So really great deal. And
it is.
We'll draw the name. We'll call you on the 22nd.
Right.
And let you know if you won.
Absolutely. You do not have to be present to win.
You do not, and we will ship it.
Okay. And are you guys going to do the drawing like on a Facebook Live so people can see it?
Yep, we're going to do that. We'll do Facebook Live. We'll draw that so everyone can see us drawing it. And that's probably done midday on the 21st. So you may get a call on the 21st and go, hey, you won. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
So someone's going to win anyway.
Yes.
All right. Anything else on that?
There's not. It's not necessarily an event or anything coming up, but I just want to brag on the coffee specials you got going on for the solstice season. Yeah. Some really good stuff. Come in and check out some of the coffees and
the Krampus special.
Yes.
And the winter solstice.
See, that's the one I'm going for because it's got the eggnog.
Yeah, we mix eggnog. It's basically our Wicked Goblin, but instead of using straight up milk, we actually add eggnog to it. It's really rich.
It's so good.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's freakishly good.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about what we're going to talk about. Actually, I think it's drink from my beverage here.
Absolutely. One must need fuel for such.
I keep the throat, moist. All right, so we're going to diverge into something we don't really normally talk about a whole lot. And this is going to be a very surface level talk about a grimoire, a living grimoire.
A magical system.
A magical system. And it's affectionately known as the DOE. So if you ever hear them say the DOE, what they're really talking about is the Dragon.
The Dragon Book of Essex.
Yes. Unfortunately, I love these monsters. Let me cough.
Yeah. So what you work on that, I'll talk for a while. So, okay. The Dragon Book of Essex is like Mitchell said, it is a grimoire. It was a system of magic that was a year-long process that was put together by Andrew Chumley, among others. And it is a procedure. And it is a living book of magic. The book itself is a spell, and it is a set of rituals that you work throughout the year. And it is something that I feel will greatly affect your magical practice in an enhancement way, and will teach you things about yourself, and potentially give you some other insight into some different aspects of the way that you practice.
Yeah, and we're not diving into all that.
No, way too much.
Yeah. A lot of people are involved, like Michael Howard Schulk, Giles. There's a lot of people involved with that.
There was.
And that creation of it. All right, so it's a group out in England. We won't mention their names for liability reasons.
Absolutely.
But we're going to talk about the marriage vessel. And that is a part of getting prepared to start all these rituals.
Right.
So just in case you can't see it, this is the marriage vessel. It has different symbols on it. You can decorate however you want. The end result is this is going to be burned.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take these ashes and start a new one.
Right.
Now, the marriage vessel, notice has a cork. So that's designed, when I pull it, I can put things into it.
Yes.
And I do that. For how long, Will?
That you would do that from the last dark moon of the last dark moon before the winter solstice, before the black moon sun.
Yeah, so it's basically dark moon to dark moon.
Correct.
And then, unless the black sun comes in before that.
Right.
It's basically a 28-day process. You're going to put stuff into this. We're going to work it. And we're putting like hair and fingernail clippings and things like that.
Right.
All right. Even you have to abstain from sex.
Correct.
That's the whole thing. So this vessel, in a little way, it's like a witch's bottle. It becomes you, but instead of being a decoy, it's a representation of you.
Yeah.
So when we say black sun, what are we talking about?
I love the fact that Chumley used such poetic words and descriptions for things, but we're talking about the winter solstice.
Yeah, the longest day, longest night.
Yep.
So that's your black sun, and so that's when you're going to burn this marriage vessel, and you take the ashes and then create a new vessel from that, and the new vessel and carry from year to year.
Right.
Because while this is a year-long process, it's actually a 8-year process. The idea is you go through, because try not to get into the whole DOE concept, but it's sometimes a little hard to not include certain aspects
Right.
of it, because you have the different rituals. You have 8 rituals basically you're doing wheel of the year, right? So Hugh, the very first one, well, that's the year of Hugh, and then you go on. The second year would be this. So the second ritual in line would be like sort of like the whole year.
Correct.
So like I said, we're not going to jump into that because
We'd be here for days.
Days. It's an 888-page book. All right, so it's quite lengthy. Every ritual is at least 40 freaking pages. It's long. You definitely want to print them out because you're not memorizing them.
Not only that, but the book is on the expensive side.
If you can find it.
If you can find it, and you do not want to be out there in the elements with that book that you spent good money on, and so having either a printed version or something like that in a clipboard in plastic sheets is much more advantageous.
And the idea, I say it's very easy to go down the rabbit hole when you're dealing with these type of books. When you're putting things in it, you're going to be saying something every day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 14 things, so obviously there's half that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Then you reverse it going backwards.
Yes.
So the idea is you're going to say it's almost like a prayer every day. It's something different every day because it matches the 14 points of the Draconius constellation.
Right.
Which is all where it's all about. All right. It all comes back down to Draco.
Mm-hmm. There are, it ties in various things. Numerology plays a huge part of this. Whereas there's the 14 spells, the 14 points of the Draconian constellation, and it just 14 parts to the dragon's body, and it all ties itself together and very harmoniously.
Yes.
Definitely. So, what I think would be a good idea would be when we say marriage vessel, it is literally it is a commitment. It is not something to be taken lightly. It is, you are putting yourself in there and you are committing to it.
The Heroes Gamos.
Yes, you are.
And it is literally the sacred rite of marriage between man and serpent.
Yes.
So it is that marriage between you and that constellation, to Draco. All right. And there's times of working. There's the first working of the Heroes Gamos. There's a lot involved with it. So it's one of those things where it's intensive. It's a lot to read through. And of course, they write very poetically, we'll call it that way. And yeah, I even think they make up some words here and there.
And their spelling is unique. I mean, you may look at a word for athame, for example, and it is, while it is pronounced athame, it is not written the way you would standardly see athame written.
Yeah.
They're very poetic license with their spelling.
Yeah.
But
And if this is something that you are interested in, that, the way they write it, you have to read it all the way through before you can start working it, because they'll talk about a lot of stuff, but they tell you how to do it at the end.
Right.
Or they reverse things in the order that you would think. And they do that on purpose. They want to, basically, you're going to have to work at it.
Anything, especially anything magically, there should be an element of working through and a level of sacrifice. And in this case, you're sacrificing your time.
Yeah.
And you're sacrificing that time daily that you're spending for just getting started for the first 28 days.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, like part of it's going to be called, the Mysterium of I. All right. So it's that part of this ritual, part of the sayings. It's about you because the marriage ritual is you.
Yes.
And so it's got a lot of connotations to that. And as you're going through and you got, things you have to say and work with, when you get to that point where, okay, now it's the winter solstice, it's the dark sun, or black sun, I should say.
Right.
This is when you're going to sit down, like I said, and you're going to do the ritual. You're going to make your declarations, which you have to do. And part of those declarations, you'll say over and over again throughout the month. But to bring that, and of course, bring everything tied together, and then it goes down, then you pull it together. Now, the Dragon of Essex is really, generally you have 4 people.
Right.
It's designed for 4.
Right.
All right. Can you do it by yourself? Sure. A little more complicated. You got to do a lot more stuff.
A little more work.
Yeah, a lot more work. But you have, like I said, the decorations. You'll have the chant of the tree. So you'll go through your different directions.
Right.
Even the exorcism of fire.
Mm-hmm.
The exorcism of fire is okay. This is where we're burning that sucker.
Yep.
And we're going to take those ashes and put in a new one and carry that over. And then again, adding those things to it. So.
And interesting enough, they don't tell you, okay, it's time to burn it. It's
Right.
You get to the end, take your ashes. Wait a minute. So very thought provoking, and it will, definitely something that when you read through it the first time, go back and read through it again.
Yeah, and you'll find that, like, when you're doing this, when they say exorcism, that's like almost really, it's like almost calling the quarters.
Yeah,
It
is.
Exorcism of salt, chant of the trees,
Exorcism of water.
Yes, exorcism of water. So these are basically a very elaborate quarter call. Yeah, we have lots of notes here because it's a lot. It's one of those things, it's the binding of the triple exorcism. So you have the salt, you have fire, you're binding these things, and another term. Let's don't call them quarter calls. They're just calls, and you're bringing all that of water, salt, and fire together, and bringing all this together, and it's a really interesting way. It's a little hard to even explain some of this. So that's why we said, let's give it a shot. Let's talk about that if some people are interested in. But that binding of the triple exorcisms and creating, because you're basically through water, fire, and salt, you're removing those things.
Yeah, you're expunging those things from
you.
yourself.
Right. Because remember, the vessel is you. And it all comes back down to that aspect.
And while it is, designed for 4, it is very much individualistic.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have the salutations, the 5 salutations, So there's a lot of calling throughout this, and definitely some wordy, a lot of words.
Some very lengthy passages that you'll
Yes.
be going through over and over again.
By word and deed of sacrifice, divided flesh once more be whole. The crooked hero here be cut. They're definitely working in that type of.
It's almost like reading Shakespeare. It's almost like reading Shakespeare.
Yeah, I'm probably going back in like almost medieval times, but you can definitely see the Middle Eastern influence in this.
Yes.
So which a lot of magic comes from. So you can definitely see little things like that. So what else about the marriage? We're not going to go into huge detail here because read it if you want to know that much.
What I really liked was the 14 parts of the dragon. The 14 parts that they did. It's really, to me, the imagery of each of the parts really kind of stuck out to me when I read through them. Because you're reading them, at first reading all of them, then every day a different part. It really kind of gave me a different perspective. Like, Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
definitely.
add. I'm gonna
Yeah,
add that. Yeah, that.
yeah, a lot of stuff, and like I said, this is a very superficial,
Right.
right? But even like the mysteries of the black moon, the being, the sublime teaching of the lightless moon. One thing, and some people, I like it. I like how they word stuff, but I get it. Sometimes you're like, wow, you couldn't just say winter solstice.
Yeah, you can just say darkly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what I mean, I'm thinking, hello, but I get it, and it does help weed out, I think, those who are really serious and those who are just sort of
Yes.
playing. You
I,
know.
I like in my head comparing it to, that's the metaphysical equivalent of Stephen King. Takes 47 pages to describe a door.
Yeah,
And but when you get done reading it, read it again, read through it, and actually, read between the lines to what are they really talking about. It will deepen your understanding and deepen your connection to what you're saying. And
it
I'm like,
does.
it's
I mean, there's a lot because even within the thing is different sections. You have the oracle, the declaration, the chant of trees, the triple exorcisms. You know, and there's a lot to it. And then you have the quarter salutations, because that's where your quarter also do come in.
Yep.
And even those are a little bit different than maybe you're used to or accustomed to. But it is a really good system, and it's a really thought provoking
Yeah.
along the crooked path that we all take.
it,
So,
it will definitely change your perspective. And you may be like, oh, that's not for me, but some of the ideas are thought provoking. Definitely make you go,
huh.
huh, okay.
Yeah, it definitely will enrich your practice. I'll say that much.
Yes.
Definitely. So if this is something that maybe you're considering, you can always call the shop or just message us and go, hey, and I'll try to point you to where you can find the book.
Right.
Like I said, it's definitely on the rare side of things. There's only like 800 copies printed of the cheap version. They have 3 different versions, so I won't go into the price or anything like that. Maybe you can find it, but got my copy.
Right.
Yeah, but it is a really cool and very enlightening adventure.
While it is an elaborate system and a very detailed and very hands-on system, it is definitely one. I feel that even if you don't do the rituals itself, just merely reading through it and grasping some of the concepts of what they're talking about, and being able to, the description of things, and even things such as, you know, the mystery of I, taking a better look at who you are as a practitioner.
Well, yeah, and just to give you an idea, it's just the marriage vessel, right? And reading on how to do it and what to do is over 60 pages.
Yes.
Um, so quite a bit.
Yeah.
And of course you have to read all the how to do it and what you're supposed to do and say this, and they're not going to line everything up, just make it easy for you. They like to write those layers. They really want you to have to dig and discover it. But that's really all we're going to talk about today. Was just the marriage vessel and just a little bit of a very superficial tease of the DOE.
That's a little bit of left-handedness.
Yes, definitely not your typical Cunningham Buckland.
Yeah, this is not your grandmother's witchcraft.
No, definitely not folk.
No.
And not earth centric.
No. But definitely, I like to try to be well-rounded. Yeah. And so definitely something that, like I said, like we said, it will definitely change your perspective on a lot of
very
things.
ceremonial.
Very much ceremonial.
All right, so that's all I got for this. Keep it short.
Yeah.
Just remember, we are having Krampus this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 15% mega Krampus sale.
Awesome.
The photos, you get a physical 4x6, and of course, you also get a digital copy emailed to you. And that's for photos. So yes, if you're going to bring a pet and children, the children don't have to be in crates, but the pets do.
Okay.
And that's cats. It doesn't matter. It's a safety issue.
Right.
I had someone who said he got a little chihuahua, and it's like, well, I understand you can hold it, and I get that. Doesn't matter that chihuahua bites somebody. They get too close. So for safety, all animals have to be in crates or some sort of container. I know they have like their cat backpack and stuff like that.
Right.
That'll work too. Just where one, they can't get loose. 2, they can't harm. and 3 they don't get harmed.
Right. Yeah.
Children, all ages. We've had infants and everything come sit in Krampus's lap and
Absolutely.
held and get pictures made. So it's a lot of fun. We've done this for a while now.
Yeah.
We started the Krampus pictures in Birmingham, so
There you
we were on the forefront of that sucker.
go.
And I say we got Teen Tarot. That's going to be
Tomorrow night.
tomorrow night.
There you
It's
go.
like, keep thinking next week. No, it's now.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Saturday. This is Krampus.
And
The raffle.
And the raffle. There are $5 a ticket.
3
and
for 10.
3 for 10.
So other than that, things pretty much. I think we're going to be open normal hours. Normal. I believe we are going to be open Christmas Day, but it'll be limited time.
Okay.
So Christmas Day the 25th. So I think it looks good today. You got anything else you want to add?
I hope y'all have a wonderful solstice and however you celebrate, and we will see you guys again next month.
Sounds great.